Okay, another community day today. This month it was the Carnival Decor Pikmins. I'll show you the Pikmins that I've got as well as the other ones as usual. And of course there was that business news just about the company Niantic and all the information in terms of the game being sold and all that. So I'll give you guys my thoughts. I was wondering if I should just make something separate, for example. But I just figured I'd do it on the community day, show you some fun stuff, and at the same time give you my general thoughts of, I guess, the whole situation, and you guys can tell me as well how you feel. So let's get started first, huh? I gotta plant the flowers and all that. Okay, Community Day badge complete. Still working on that friendship one too, and still getting all your guys' postcards. Maybe I'll show some of them on the screen while I guess we talk about that topic of Pikmin Bloom being sold to another company, and just in general, Niantic Games being sold to a company called Scopely. So what is this all about, and what are my thoughts in general? So of course there's a lot of official press releases from Niantic and then Scopely talking about how this was a good decision overall, and ultimately they sold their games division to Scopely for $3.5 billion. That's a lot of money. So on the positive end, since Niantic is not really a game company per se, to my understanding, they're more about the back end, the data and all that, and creating, I guess, the engine that makes more sense for them from a business point of view, because you could imagine if that's your primary focus, then games is just the means to do that, and they wouldn't have as much focus in trying to create, I guess you could say, innovative content and all that. Whereas if they're selling it to this company that's more focused on video games, then that could potentially mean there will be more features for the games in general, which could be a good thing for you as a player. Now, for some of the games that this Scopely company has, apparently they're pretty big. I never played them before, but they're games, for example, like Monopoly Go and another Marvel game. But one of the complaints and concerns that people have, to my understanding, was that those games are heavily monetized. So pay to win, for example. So that would be one of the concerns, where these games like Pikmin Bloom or Pokemon Go, it'll kind of go into that direction where some people are kind of over-exaggerating, but imagine like a game here in Pikmin Bloom where every time you go to attack a mushroom, I don't know, something like an ad comes out or something like that, or you'll be paywall blocked. So that would be the concern overall. Now, whether or not that would be the case, I don't know, of course. You'll have to wait and see. I tried to do a little research just to find out, okay, who are the ultimate owners of the company, which might give you a better idea in terms of the potential direction. Apparently, Scopely is owned by a company called Savvy Games Group, as Savvy Games Group recently bought them for $4.9 billion, so lots of transactions going on. And Savvy Game Groups themselves are owned by the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, so it's owned by Saudi Arabia. But one thing that's kind of interesting with the Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund is, as you know, with games like Pikmin, it's a Nintendo property. With things like Monster Hunter now, it's a Capcom property. And interestingly enough, the Saudi Arabian government and their public investment fund actually has investment in companies like Nintendo and Capcom. From what I've saw anyways in recent times, apparently for Nintendo, they own about, let's just say, 8% stakes in the company. And for a company like Capcom, apparently it's more than 5%. So I guess that kind of made sense too, because obviously if they own shares in those companies, then they have a say, correct? But that should kind of tell you too, where obviously in that sense, if they paid that much money to acquire all these games, they're not just going to change everything just like that all of a sudden. And here's an example too, where they have investments in these big companies as well, and they don't just magically, for example, just change everything based on, let's just say, one specific culture, if that makes sense. There were some changes recently too, as obviously this thing didn't just happen overnight. For those who play games like Pokemon Go, you may notice there's been so much more paid ticket events, it seems like. Although on a fun note there, I actually got a perfect shiny Pokemon on the day, which was kind of cool. Or for the Pikmin Bloom, if you guys remember, there was that Challenge Anywhere ticket. So again, it seems like in all the games are trying to aggressively find ways to make more money, I guess you could say, and that would make sense in that regards. And some of you asked too, will I still be playing this, I guess, after all this? For myself, yes I will. I'll see how it's like as usual. And for myself, I walk a lot anyways. And for me, the game is just some way to have fun while I'm doing my everyday stuff anyways. And at the same time, it's kind of a good example. I was reading some of your comments, the husband and wife duel, where I was walking with you for the week and you expressed your gratitude. I mean, it's stuff like this, what I personally enjoy when it comes to games like these. All the gears or whatever, or like this, getting certain decors. I mean, it's nice and all that, but for me, it's kind of great just to hear other people enjoy, I guess, the day, what it's like in their area, and at the same time, I guess being kind of inspired to go outside. I mean, for me, that's the main joy I get out of the games like these. Because let's be honest, as even a lot of you have mentioned, when it came to things like events and support overall, I mean, just look at myself, how many events have I actually seen, for example, in terms of Pikmin bloom related event, there's been nothing, correct? It makes you wonder whether or not stuff like that will change, and I don't know. Because when it comes to a different company, a different management style, a different cultural belief, things could change, I guess, pretty dramatically for better or for worse, and the only way you could tell is to wait and see. I guess my only advice would be to enjoy it for what it is currently. Don't have too big of an expectation, I guess. I'd rather be a little safer there, seeing, okay, if the company really supports this and that, you'll see it in terms of the type of people they'll actually support, the type of events they'll hold, and I haven't seen that personally. So that's my other example too. Kind of treat it for what it is currently. Don't set your expectation way too high, because I know for this game too, there was a lot of people afraid to play it because of games like Harry Potter, for example, like that one that closed down, and there's been nothing given to a lot of people to give them reassurance, like, okay, it won't be the same for the other stuff. But what are your thoughts overall? I guess for now, I'll just have to wrap things up.